Fritz Pollard Alliance not happy with what's happened this week, nor should it be. The group that's responsible for promoting the hiring and retention of minority coaches and executives issuing a statement today, and this comes from Rod Graves, the executive director of the Fritz Pollard Alliance. The recent dismissals of Brian Flores and David Culley is a disappointment given efforts to increase the representation of black coaches as head coaches in the NFL. The fact that we stand today with only one black head coach makes clear that the current system does not provide a sustainable pathway for the growth in numbers of minorities as head coaches. For many, the time for progress is now. With 11 openings, the NFL has an opportunity to demonstrate its commitment to diversity of leadership. 8 head coaching positions vacant, 3 general manager jobs open, and we'll see what happens, Myles. Look, the bottom line is they can put whatever procedures they want in place to require a certain number of interviews and to require a process that's deliberate. It feels like everybody is operating in a more deliberate way this year than usual. But at the end of the day, these owners are going to hire whoever they want. And I asked somebody today who understands the process very well and has a lot of experience with the process, what percentage of teams do you think know when they fire their current head coach who the next one will be? And the answer was 70 to 80%. Now, Peter King and I talked about this earlier. He thinks this year that number's lower, that these teams really are engaging in a broader search, a meaningful search, an open search, or maybe they're just doing a better job of creating the impression that they are. But regardless, the owners are going to hire who they want to hire, and I don't think any amount of pressure from the Fritz Pollard Alliance or the league office is going to change things. The only thing that's ever going to change it, and here's the former lawyer in me, if you haven't heard, coming out, litigation or the credible threat of litigation is the only thing that is going to change a status quo where all you have to do is point to the outcome. Point to the numbers over the last 40 years, and it's obvious that somehow, some way, the current system has bias baked into it that manifests itself over and over and over again. But until they get sued, they're not going to change. It was the threat of litigation that brought us the Rooney Rule in the first place 20 years ago. And where have we really come in 20 years? What progress has really been made in 20 years, Myles?
Well, I don't know that there has been much of any. And you just said what I was exactly going to say. It was only the threat of litigation that brought about the Rooney Rule in the first place. And, it's so interesting, Mike, because I think nothing brings out the racist like pointing out systemic racism, because yesterday, as I think many people did, I pointed out on Twitter that Mike Tomlin was the lone remaining black coach in the NFL, right? And we can call it active, right? Because obviously one or more could be hired in this coaching cycle, especially with there being 8 openings right now. But, the funniest thing that got thrown back in my face was somebody that was like, oh, I bet you just couldn't wait to post this because there are 8 openings. So why don't you just wait? And while you wait, go take a trip to Chicago and go stop the violence that claims so many black lives. Where the hell did that come from? We're talking about head coaching vacancies. Are you going to go tell me to go stop violence in Chicago? It's unbelievable the way people act about stuff that doesn't really even affect their lives, but really it's just the systemic racism that is so clear and so obvious. And it comes from the shadow guys, the egg guys, the guys with 10 numbers in their Twitter handles. But it's dude, you're not going to get one of these jobs anyway, you jerk. So I don't really understand why people just cannot handle when facts are pointed out to them.
How dare you say or do anything that will make people the slightest bit uncomfortable about their belief systems or the history that we all have as a shared people that is undeniable, but the easiest way to avoid ever having to feel like maybe we should improve is just to ignore the history altogether and act like it never even happened.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.